Top-tier trading team, we're up at the bell. Coffee in a paper cup, chasing that swell. Screens glow green like a Friday dream. We ride that chart like a rodeo scene. Limit set tight, got a plan on the pad. Gap up open, yeah, the pullback's rad. We don't chase candles, we just track that flow. Risk real small, let the winners grow. Top trading team, raise your hand. Stacking those gains like a rock and brass band. From the pit to the porch to the island sand. We buy that dip, let the bull run stand. Top trading team, hear that shout. Cut that loss, flip fear to clout. One good trade, that's what we're about. Top trading team, we break out. Calling the calls when the trend runs right. Put on the puts when it tanks all night. Delta in my denim, chops in my boots. Reggae in my veins and the blues in my roots. Red day, same old song. We dance that draw down, we don't stay long. Yeah, we tip our hat. Next clean setup, we load up on that. Hey, top trading team, raise your hands. Stacking those gains like a rock and brass band. From the pit to the porch to the island sand. We buy that dip, let the bull run stand. Top trading team, feel that fire. Break those chains of a dead and higher. Chart that path, climb tick by tick higher. Top tier trading team, never tire. Early bells and midnight scans, we turn those slips into stronger hands. Every loss a lesson, every chart a map. We fall, we rise, we tighten that strap. Oh yeah. Eyes on the candle, heart on the plan. We hit that ladder like a marching band. Top trading team, raise your hands. Stacking those gains like a rock and brass band. From the pit to the porch to the island sand. We buy that dip, let the bull run stand. Top trading team, ring that bell. From the back road barn to the city shell. One loud shout when the profits swell. Top trading team, trade it well. Top trading team. Yeah, we climb that screen from the floor to the sky. Living out that dream. Top tier trading team, we're up at the bell. Coffee in a paper cup, chasing that swell. Screens glow green like a Friday dream. We ride that chart like a rodeo scene. Limit set tight, got a plan on the pad. Gap up open, yeah, the pullback's rad. We don't chase.
All right, folks. Welcome. I'm glad you were able to make it here. Congratulations, guys. I know it's a busy day, so the fact that you made it here on Super Bowl Sunday is great. Give me 1 second to adjust the sound here so that we're in a little bit better of a situation. There we go. 1 second. Let's put something comfortable in the back here. All right, there we go. All right, let me do a quick sound check. Want to make sure you all can hear me and I can hear me, and we can get ourselves going here. So again, welcome. Welcome. I really appreciate you guys coming here again on Super Bowl Sunday. There's lots of activity to be doing, and the fact that you're here, taking the time to learn today is really a testament to your commitment to be a better trader. As I'm looking to watch the game tonight too. I'm hoping Seattle kind of takes it to New England here, but regardless, I'm still putting my time in on the weekend to become a better trader, as we should all be doing if that's really our objectives here. So kudos to you for making it today. We're going to go over some of the trades that we obviously had been in just this week prior. And then, of course, what we're going to continue to look for this coming week. And then we're going to do a little Q&A after that. But guys, save your questions for that time, all right? If you don't have it already, please grab a pen and paper. There's going to be things that we'll go through here. You might want to take some notes on, just to jot down little things that might be beneficial to you, as well as whatever questions that you kind of come up with. I mean, you may have them now. I don't want you to forget them. But through this operation here, you might think of some, and it's easy to forget with all the information and just things happening. So definitely recommend pen and paper, and we'll get ourselves started. Next thing I want to address, guys, me, for a lot of you that know me, I'm here at home. All right. So I've got kids here. I've got a dog here. I've got a full house. I've got mother-in-laws, mothers, all that. So I'm going to apologize ahead if there's any disruptive noises. If anything gets a little heavy in the background, I'll do my best to kind of address those things here, but hopefully we get through this without any too many issues of that nature and whatnot. So all right, so let's go ahead and get ourselves started here. Let me pull up the first one we're going to take a gander at. All right, so it's been an interesting week this week. There were moments where we would have on some of these stocks a day or two where it just sat there and did nothing. And then all of a sudden there were moves. And then we got a little bit of pop towards the end of the week there on things. So we're going to kind of go over what happened and what we're looking for if there is anything to look forward to. And we're going to start first here with AI. Now, we had been looking to go long on AI. And we had these levels obviously laid out prior to our entry here this week. All right. Now, the beauty of this, you can see our trade plan, our original trade plan is very simple. We wanted to take an entry right here in this zone, all right, between about 1045 to 1090, all right, maybe as high as just a hair under 11, like, 1095. What happened is we started looking at this actually back here. Let me go back a little bit so we could all see. Pardon me. All right, on Wednesday, let me see. And then on Thursday, we decided that we were going to potentially enter our trade if we had the setup. All right, so our stop was right down here. Now, one of the things that I always encourage, as you guys likely know, is that I really encourage when we set up a trade plan that even though we have an ideal and acceptable entry level or range, we always try to buy as close to our stop as possible, right? And that offers us a couple of opportunities here. And we were able to capitalize on those opportunities here with AI. So let me go ahead and explain. We started looking at it and we saw the potential here, and we saw a bounce into that zone. Now, it very well could have been, because we really started looking at it here, that seeing this bounce off here would have been perfectly understandable to take a long in this situation. As we were seeing, there was support being made at our stop, all right? And it had hit right at our entry level, at the top end of our entry level, came back and bounced off support at our stop, and then was bouncing up over our entry level with reasonable volume, higher than the volume that it had in terms of a negative red candle here, all right? And we're looking at the 15-minute time frame here, guys. So I would have understood, but I don't like to get in at the end of the day. Sometimes we have this, you never know, gap ups, gap down, whatever the case may be. And so we waited. And then the next morning we opened up right about that level. But initially, for the first maybe 5 minutes, there actually was a gap up. And we didn't chase, we were patient because we don't like to really get anything in the first 15 to 30 minutes sometimes in the morning. And that paid off because you could see right away what happened. Okay. We came down right into our stop. All right. We came down right into our stop area. Now, had we bought, even at just the top end of our acceptable entry level, had we just not been as patient, you could see how as soon as we hit our stop, it would have been required for us to get out. We would have stopped out of this trade completely and we were done. That's it. We wouldn't have, we would continue to look at it and we could have had a chance the next day, as you would have seen, but you'll see the benefit of not having done so. So anyway, being patient, we waited till we got right here. And you could see there was a little piercing, but a hold of the stop again. All right. So we actually took a tier 1 position here. As you know, I trade in tiers generally. Of course, things always move around. And again, guys, want to be clear, everything that we go over, nothing here is financial advice, not a financial advisor, just showing you things I'm looking at as a trader, potential setups, so on and so forth. You must do your own diligence. You must research, know what you're doing, trade at your own risk. Very important. I'm just sharing with you what I know. All right. So that being said, this is what we do. I tier trade. I took a tier 1 position, which means not a full-size position. Hypothetically, let's say I was looking to get 10 contracts on this trade. Right here, I would have maybe nibbled on 1 or 2. So I took a couple of tiers, or a tier, a single tier. And that's just really a feeler position to kind of see where we go from there, but not risking a full-size position. Now we started to move up a tiny bit, but then we came right back down. You see, we came down pretty decently. We got down to basically 10. I mean, 9.99, but 10. Okay. Now, because we purchased our first tier at this area, at what was our stop, this allowed us the opportunity to let this kind of play out. Because I had a feeling that there was potentially change. And I shouldn't say feeling, because it really was an analysis coupled with just prior experience and instinct, which allowed me to feel comfortable being able to get a small tier 1 feeler position here and to allow this to come down. Because even if I was wrong and at this low of the day, which it's set towards the close, this is all my loss was, and not even a full position. All right. So if I bought here, that would have doubled my loss. So this is one of the benefits of buying near your stop, being patient, guys, testing levels and proving. So into the close, we got here and created this low. Next morning, we woke up basically at that level, but with this slight move up, which was a good start. And you could see the candles on the volume were relatively moderate in green, both in size and in number. And that gave me along with price action, and of course, VWAP and everything looking really ideal. It was a coalescence of variables to go ahead and start nibbling on a larger extra tier. So I would take more tiers into our buy zone as we were showing strength. Look at this volume profile, guys. One little tiny red candle against all these nice sized green candles. So, that coupled with the fact that it's trading price above the trade line, the EMA, was all bullish. Plus the angle of the attack was at almost 45 degrees. That's a very strong look. So anyway, that's what we did. We geared up, tiered up into this buy zone as we were showing strength through it. And then this allowed us the opportunity, because our initial profit target was up here for our first one, right? right near 1180. Well, having purchased here, once we had a little bit of resistance as we gapped up into here, we could take profit off ahead of time, or that's just extra icing on the cake as far as profitability, right, guys? So that's what we did. We followed our plan. We bought as close to our stop as possible, a small feeler position. It showed us that it had support here the very next day. We were able to tear up and then go through there. All right. So that's a great lesson in patience, in following your trade, and really, the benefit of what that could be. Now we ended up here today, right up near that profit target. Now we didn't quite hit it, but I did sell my tier because, again, I afforded myself the ability to profit from this gap as well as our original entry to profit one zone. So this little tiny gap here wasn't enough to keep me from sticking around. And guys, what do we always say? We don't want to be greedy, right? We want to take profit when it shows. Best place for that profit is, of course, in our pocket. So that's what we're going to put it. And that's exactly what we did. All right. So that's AI there. So what we're looking for next week is very simple. It's simply a continuation of that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised we bump up against this profit zone here at 1180. We pull back, right, to test that area. Nothing moves in straight lines and in one direction at all times. So this has to be tested along with the trade line. All right, so right around that, I would say maybe 1120, 1125 area, we'll see that pull back to. But then from there, we can expect, so long as we have the volume profile continuing to be as it is, large green, smaller red, and then that is perfect. I mean, that's really what we're looking for that continuation move up to our upper levels here, around 12 to 1225, and then of course 1250. All right, guys, so that's what we're looking for with AI. That's what we went through. And some of these, we do have a couple of new ones this week, trades, but a couple of them are just also going to be continuation, observation and potential trades that we take that we were looking at as well. So, but AI is definitely going to be one of those, we're pleased with the way it's working out. And so, hopefully we get a continuation of that into the next week coming up here. All right, so now we have Ford. Let me pull Ford back a little bit because I want to show you guys both the bigger picture. This is a great example for a bigger picture as well. So give me 1 second, folks. I should have had this kind of set up a little bit better before. All right, let's go to here. Okay, so what I want to show you here before we get into the trades we had this week and the trades that we're going to be looking into next week for Ford is just this trend. Okay, look at this channel that Ford has been trading in, and this has been essentially since the last month, since the first week of January, and you can see the range has been, with exception, of course, we always have piercings, right? These levels aren't to the penny, they're ranges, levels, so on and so forth. But with regularity, you can see that it's been this 14 to 1415 zone that's been the real resistance. And then, of course, the support has been down here at about 1350. Now, in actuality, these levels go up, this real support can technically go down to like 1338 and then down to 1324, but for the thick of it, it's been this range. We have been really capitalizing on that long term. And you guys, whether it's a bull run or a bear run, if it's a bearish trend or a bullish trend, the trend is your friend until it's not. There's a lot of people like to counter trade against a trend, and I understand, you're trying to maximize sometimes risk reward, but you also run the risk of just getting run over by the wave. So that being said, I like to take what the market gives me, and what it's been giving is a great, great range. So we've been taking advantage of that all week. Let me go to the right date here. All right. So basically, we've been channel trading here with Ford. And as you can see, it's been paying us off rather nicely. We up here right into this 14 to 14.50 resistance. We have been buying puts, $14 or call $14 strikes, and we've been riding those puts all the way down to this 13.50 support, selling those puts off, and buying calls, and then riding the call up here. Now, I am more confident in the puts than I am in the long term. I think Ford goes down a little bit before it goes up more, but it always has the potential to move up. That's just kind of what Ford does. But that being the case here with this trend in this channel, we've been able to take advantage of both sides. But even if I have been missing, because a couple times you guys, I've been missing. I'm a busy guy. I got a lot going on. And like I mentioned at the beginning, there's family, there's stuff. But so sometimes you just miss the move, right? But without fail, I've been shorting at this 14 zone. And you could see that's just been paying off all week. All week. It's just here, it's taken down. And even if they haven't been all the way down to this 13.50, even been able to ride this 14.15 all the way down to 13.73, they pop up there, right? And that's what we've been doing. And so, guys, the plan is very simple moving forward here on Ford. We're just going to do the same until this trend breaks, until we permanently pierce, not just pierce, I'm sorry. We can, as you've seen in the past part of the chart that I showed you, if we pierce, that's still not enough for me to think the trend's over. It's got to be a pierce and a hold on substantial volume, or to the downside, a pierce and a hold below that 13.50 zone, in which case I could see us going to 13.38 and then 13.24. I don't have those marked out here, but I've been watching Ford for a while. I know its levels. And so until Ford breaks that rhythm, I'm going to ride the wave on that. I'm going to continue to buy puts up here. Now, there are caveats to that, guys. Like, we have these charts, we have tools, we have education, and we have experience, right? But what is the one tool, I guess, that we all have that you really need to put to use here? And it is your eyes. All right. Now, for some of you that know me personally, I'm a little bit disadvantaged of that with my vision, but we still have the advantage of seeing what's happening in front of us too. Okay. So just like when you're driving a car, you have a route, you have a plan, but you're not going to make that left-hand turn if you see a kid crossing the street, right? Or an elderly individual crossing. You're going to wait, or if there's traffic, or if there's an accident, whatever, right? You have to be malleable to a degree. Same here. All right. If we saw a push up into this zone, okay, and then into this piercing of 14.50, we pull back and we push up in high volume, pulling back on low volume, and no less than the 15-minute, really more like the 30-minute, 1 hour time frames. Then, okay, now we're done. We're setting a new channel, likely between 14 and 14.15 become the new support. Prior resistance becomes support, and then it goes all the way up to 14.50 as far as what would be my target to the upside on Ford from there. But until that happens, then and then of course, if that is what happens, then we don't get the puts. The rhythm's over, the trend's over, whatever you say, and then we move on to the next channel, and we then just apply the same way. So that's just a great example of just classic channel trading, guys. There's momentum trading where things move big in one direction, some fundamental catalyst you can capitalize on, a quick move, this and the other. Then you can capitalize on just nothing but a heartbeat of a stock as well. Like, what is it doing? It's got to breathe, it's got to expand. And then you just learn the rhythm and you play the rhythm, you ride the wave, you make the money. All right. So that's what we're looking at with Ford. We're going to continue to watch Ford as 14 as resistance, all the way up to 14.15. And then we'll write it down, taking profits at around 13.73, and then, of course, 13.50. All right. So, guys, I'm going to try to go through it as quick as possible because I know a lot of you guys have plans here for the Super Bowl today. So I want to keep you from that. But, yeah, we'll go into everything we can here. So let's see what was next. Oops, these are ones coming up. Let me switch this up real fast here. I'm sorry, guys. Thought I already had the other one up here. But next we will cover Palantir. This was amazing this week, guys. And look, if you guys traded Palantir this week and you shorted it like we were planning, kudos to you. I can't express how happy I am for you guys, because you made some substantial change. Yeah, I mean, in your portfolio, if you played that right. Oh, goodness gracious, guys, I apologize. Give me just a sec. My chart is being very interesting. In just a moment. I don't know why my screen just shrank on me, guys. So I'm going to try to reload this one in a minute here. Apologize for the technical challenge here, guys. But I am about 30 seconds or less from fixing it. We'll be right on our way. That was strange. Okay, we got it now. Ta-da! Tech is wonderful, but it's not perfect, and certainly neither am I. So here we go. This was amazing. Okay. I know that was a lot of buildup for all of a sudden having a tech challenge and all that, but guys, we had been eyeing this the week before, and we were looking for this zone right here, pardon, to remain resistant. You can see we had a short that we were looking for on PLTR, Palantir, and our original plan here was to short 147 area. Basically, no higher than 150 was our stop. Okay. What happened was, as we were just about to take this position, you can see we were right here riding that line, and then we were going to buy at near our stop. Then it started to move, but then the very next morning, look at this gap up, guys. Whew. Shot up to 165. All right. So from basically 140 to 165, it shot up. So that short clearly was not, valid anymore from that point. But we were looking for a move back down and to potentially take it. So we didn't stop looking at it. All right. We kept it on the chart. We kept the chart up, and we kept glancing. And after that move up, it came back and settled right around VWAP for about 2 days. And it just seemed like it was going to potentially move up, but it really hadn't made up its mind. All right. It was right there just waiting to decide. The next morning, like the very next morning, off the bell, like if you didn't weren't in it the night before, you just missed out. Like there was no time to get in it. So if you did, guys, if you were, if you felt like it was going to short and you were confident enough and aggressive enough to take that without necessarily the overall what's the word, indication to do so, yeah, you got paid off, because look at that move right off the bell the next day. Blew through our entries, blew through our stop, blew through our first, second, and to our third profit target. Now that was in a day and a half, maybe. And this thing got as low as 125. So if you were able to take that 165 to 125, again, take your significant, or yourself and your significant other, if you have one, out for a nice weekend vacation. I mean, if you played this right, you guys did great, and kudos. I'm so happy. I really hope some of you took advantage of this move. So now you see, once we made this move down to 125, going through our profit targets, we're now bounced here. We double bottom. All right, so that's our support now. And then we're kind of reversing a bit. We blew through this apex rather nicely, but I'm not confident that this overall short is done. We're going to see if, and there's a couple options here. There are long-term and there are short-term trades. As far as a short-term potential day trade or scalp, early next week, Monday, we're going to see if this green line here, which is the 100-day moving average, if that acts as resistance between that and the 50-day moving average, which is sitting just below VWAP. We can presume that that will remain resistance, and I expect that to be at about $140. If that is true and it remains resistance, then you could potentially ride this back down to around 125. I'd be taking profits in front of 125, probably 140, taking off at 135, and then at 125. Or I'm sorry, 135 and then 130, and then hold on to the last tier in case we break this low. If we break this low, guys, on heavy volume, then who knows, what the downside from there may be. We may see ourselves at 110 or 115, something like that. So we're going to keep an eye on Palantir for that as well. So I know this chart's a little messy, guys. I got the moving averages all up here and stuff too. But we're going to continue to see if this weakness continues on Palantir. It's had a big move down in general. So that's the one risk that I would want to really express to you guys moving forward next week or in any potential future. It's had a big drop over the last couple of months. In that, there's going to be attempts to floor and whatnot. So be careful. This is why you kind of see the moving averages up on here and you don't on the other ones, because I want to be more sensitive to that activity and those relationships between those indicators as well. All right. So Palantir, kudos to you. If you guys shorted last week, really happy for you. And we're going to continue to do that. If that sets up resistance at 140 at the 100-day moving average, then we can take a quick, short little, peel off of here. All right. So that's PLTR. That's Palantir. All right. Let me load up our next guy for the day here, which is going to be Tesla. All right. Tesla. Tesla was an interesting one as well this week, guys. I gotta say, it's easy with Tesla to get tossed around a lot. It has such a high volume of activity, both in the combination of fundamentals and technicals. There's a huge backing on it. You know, a lot of people believe in it. So even when you hit certain levels, you have this ability to kind of snap back. And if you're on the wrong side of these snapbacks, you know, that could be an issue. But then if you position yourself correctly in them, it can just really make your day, make your week, make your month. You know what I mean? So Tesla kind of gave people that opportunity that week between the downtrend that it initiated at the beginning of the week, which we're going to get to in a second here. One moment, guys. All right, there we go. To where we ended up at the end of the week, which is right back into our initial channel we broke out of. And this is a great example of a test and a pierce of a level, but not a break, okay, or a confirmation, okay. Now, for a while, just like Ford, we had been trading in this channel with Tesla for some time that ranged between about 415, 414, this double yellow line here, and about 430, but that really went up to 450 on the high end, and that had been the case. Well, it had broken down, all right, it had broken down into this zone where, I mean, you could see prior to that, you could, at 415, 414, could get calls and just kind of peel off profits once you got into this 424 to 430, 440 zone, and then buy, sell. And that was kind of something you could do for a little bit here. You see right here, buy, sell, buy, sell. Okay, so again, channel trading, basically channel trading 101, right? Well, now it had earlier in the end, I'm sorry, not earlier, the end of last week, towards the end of the last week, on Thursday, we broke down into this zone here, and now we were starting to test that 400 level. And I had been, as some of you know who we have our one-on-ones, I've been saying, hey, if this 415, 410 is really a range, 411 to 414 range breaks, I don't see anything stopping us from 4. And really, I thought this would be the area of support. Well, it bounced off of 4, then it bounced back out, and you could see we broke 4 very quickly the very next day. And I expected 382 to be support. Now, we didn't get quite to 382. It was 387.50 basically, so $5 off. But again, areas and zones, guys. And then you could see the recovery that it made here. Now, this was quite a move in recovery too. This overall V-shaped recovery was really good. This usually has to come down and test a second time, sometimes a third time. You put in a double, triple top, which would imply there's still some sell pressure trying to drive it down. When you get a reversal like this, where you only get maybe a 50% retracement off of the bounce, and especially always eyeing the volume profile, right, guys? We stress that in our one-on-ones and our studies. All right, with that, then you could see how strong this bounce was. So Tesla pierced this level and it regained it the very next day, regained it. And now here we are setting up at that very upper end of this channel. Now, guys, I would not be surprised. We have to pull back and test this 400, at least 405. But I wouldn't be surprised if we, again, pierced and just to retest all the way to 400 here on Tesla. But if that's the case and it holds, all right, we pull back, we retest 400 on Tesla. We see that it provides support with the appropriate volume profile. And then we can really consider just if it's a day trade, a scalp, or, you know, always whatever type of swing, you know, you want or call, then you could possibly do that. So that's going to be what we're looking at as well. Moves from 400 up into this area, but for sure expecting resistance here at this 410 to 414 zone. It really extends as high as 4,415, but really this right here. So pay attention to those levels, guys. All right. And then obviously you could see how low we could go as well. But as long as we stay above 4, that's going to be bullish. And you could channel into here. And then we'll see if it regains this upper channel as well. All right. So that's Tesla. That's what we're looking at for Tesla. And then one last one for last week. And then we're going to move on to a couple that we didn't look at last week, but that we are going to look at this week that are new. And then the last one we're going to go over here, guys, is Netflix. Boom. This was a great short, too. All right. Kudos to anybody who took advantage of this. This was not quite a Palantir, but darn near close. I mean, as close as you could be long term, especially. All right, guys, let me switch the time frame. It's way too short. Let's go to the 1 hour. Goodness gracious. Thought I got rid of this. All right, so here we are with Netflix, and we were originally looking for a nice short entry here, as you can see, at 83. Okay, we had our stop here at 83.50. Okay, and so this just really set up nicely. Netflix has been on a kind of a move down for a while, so we were just taking advantage of that continual wave. Again, expecting some type of bounce eventually, but you see we had our short entry at 83, our stop at 83.50, and this worked out very ideal. And if you were able to take it even before we took it here, great job as well. But look at the move it did take there. That gave us the confidence to really feel comfortable in this setup and take this short. Again, if you took this, kudos. We did not. We like to, we like to get confirmation and price action, indicators, all of that, right? There's times to be aggressive and there's times not to be. And that's up to you as a trader to find out what's right for you. We did not take this short here, okay? But once this short happened and then it showed us the range, then we felt comfortable. Once this double bottom happened, look at this clear bottom. I mean, it was a very bullish engulfing candle on nice volume, and then slow pullback on lower volume. This is a little sneaky volume candle, but the next day it popped up, and then thankfully you could see it right into basically our entry, okay, right into our 83 zone. Just tapped it, and then right away just fell out of the bed. And then you see our profit targets here. And then of course we tier trade in order to give us the opportunity to not only put those profits in our pockets when they show, but to then reduce our risk while doing that. While taking that profit, we reduce our risk, taking money off the table that we could potentially lose. And guys, I stress that exponentially. Focus more on what you can lose than what you can make, and your trading will change if it's not profitable already. But doing that, we tiered out, when we started to see a little bit of reversal signals. If you could see, the volume just crashed out here, which was an indication we might have a little trouble reaching this $80 mark again. We got, I think, to 80.50. And so we didn't want to push it. Sometimes you want to take a little bit in front of a level just to ensure you get the profit. And thank goodness we did, because look at the bounce back, and then we have another bullish engulfing candle right into that zone on heavy volume. And then we ended up right there just under the entry again. So this is another one we're going to look at for next week, guys. I mean, until the trend of the channel tells us it's not going to be accurate or it's broken, we're going to presume that to be the case. Especially since Netflix has been on a rather large downtrend in general, I feel a little comfortable kind of playing this range within this zone. Now, just to be very clear too, if we were to break this 83.50 stop for this setup, a whole other setup does develop, in which case we could also still go short on. It's a larger macro picture kind of trade, but you can see how we have resistance up here as well. All right, right up to that 87, I would say 86.50 is really where we can expect resistance for a whole other short setup. Okay, but that's not now. That's if, again, everything we do in trading is if and then statements, right? If this, then that. If A, then B. You know, like a robot. Basically, that's it. You know, we don't, it's not emotions. It's not FOMO. We stay away from fear and greed. We don't chase. We let price action come to us, and we take advantage of that when we position ourselves to be able to take advantage of the price action. And we want always being risk-minded. Always. So that being said, that's what we're going to look for next week here again on Netflix. A push up into this 83 to 83.50 zone on weakening volume. I don't want to see any more of these candles. I want more of these and bigger red volume candles as we're pushing up here. If that shows me that we're going to have continual resistance, then that will be likely the time where we'll start buying some puts, and then just write them right on down to these profit targets, just as you see here. You know, 82, 81, just every dollar taking off a tier and then putting that profit in the pocket and moving on. Now, this goes all the way down, extends to even $78 as far as the longer term profit targets. But, you know, we're not trying to be greedy. We're taking what we can and we're going to ride the wave. But that's what we're looking at here for Palantir, guys. I'm sorry, for Netflix. Goodness gracious. Got everything. So you can see we've got a couple of shorts here, guys. We're looking at things, and I want to explain kind of why. I know that the markets kind of popped a little bit towards the end of the week on Friday, and you know there may be news coming out in either direction that can move the market in either direction, and it's always going to be the case. But I am not necessarily sold that this move up is permanent or good. It could be very much a bull trap, and that being the case, I do want to take advantage of some of that bullishness, but I want to be prepared for downside. Hence why we have shorts into Ford, Palantir, Netflix, you know, the ones that we've gone through. All right, so that's what we're looking at. So let's look at some of the ones we're looking at that are brand new for the week coming up and that are long. So of course, AI being with the exception on the long. Now this, we have longs as well on Pfizer. All right, we're looking at Pfizer. Pfizer's been getting some good news lately. Everything from institutional buyers and things like that to just sentiment and enough to coalesce in a bullish tone as far as news and sentiment. That being said, we've got a trade plan here that's really very, very simple. As you can see, we've got our entry zone on a long right here at about 27.10 to 27.20. All right, now that's our ideal buy zone here for Pfizer. This dotted or hash line here is simply the close on Friday. All right, so we have that marked off just so that when we open, we could kind of gauge, do we start at the top or the bottom of that channel. Now, anywhere in this zone is an acceptable buy area, right? But what do we also like to do, guys? We like to buy near our stop, right? So we, just like AI, we're going to be patient. We don't buy off the bell. We let the implied volatility settle down. We let the price of our contracts cool out because our money is made on our entries. And then we're going to look for a move back down into this area. What I'd like to see is a move into this area, and I want to see 27 touched. I want to see our stop tested. That offers us the opportunity, and I'll be looking to take a tier 1 position right into that. That'll be my first position, will be at that 27. And then I'm going to see if it holds. Now, getting in the stop provides me just a hair of a little wiggle room now from my stop to kind of move my stop down just a tiny bit to let the play kind of come out. Now, in doing so, we're going to see if that's the case, and basically looking to see if it does the same price action as AI did for us last week. I want to see a touch and a hold and a confirmation of support on our stop here at 27. And as we gain strength and indicators, everything from volume to moving averages coalesce in strength, indications of strength into our buy zone, then I will start buying a second tier, potentially a third, and so on. And so as I buy into the strength, I'll also be increasing my position. And then, of course, we have our profit zones in which we would be taking off our profits. Let me zoom that down there so it's a little bit easier to see for you guys. All right, so once we get Pfizer here up to 27.45, we're going to take our first bit of profit, and then of course 27.90, and then from there we'll hold on and see if if there's continuation move, and we'll generally, I like to hold one kind of little tier at the end there just to see if we get continuation moves beyond our profit targets, but taking profit along the way to ensure that in case we get a breakdown or heavy resistance at these levels, we've already put the profit in our pocket. Even if that last tier kind of really heavily goes down, it's not going to damage us in a new way, and either way we're still going to have a green trade. One of the advantages of trading in tiers, hence why we are the top tier trading team. And guys, please, if you're not a member already, go to toptiertradingteam.com. Join our private group. We're working on a platform right now, our independent platform. Right now, we're a private group. We have one-on-one sessions. All right, we do this every week. We're going to have a study hall, an open group study hall with a Q&A, looking at, of course, trades that we are in, trades that we're looking for the week ahead, answers to questions that you may have, whatever it is that you guys need to really step up, level up, and become a better trader for yourself. All right. So toptiertradingteam.com, head over there, and we're free. We're free for now. As we build, things will change, but take advantage of the fact that we're here and there's no disadvantage to you, no cost to you, and we're available all the time. So, all right. So that's what we're looking at for Pfizer. All right, Pfizer. Oh, as well, guys, forgot to tell you, I'm still getting used to it. If you haven't, please like this video, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Don't want to miss out on these sessions. We're going to do this every week. We have private sessions. Click that subscribe button, and we really appreciate it. Again, we want to help traders be better traders. We want to help you learn how to really profitably trade and not be dependent on somebody else to be financially gainable and responsible with your money. All right, so toptiertradingteam.com. Click that like and subscribe and that notification bell. All right, so that was Pfizer, guys. We're looking for Pfizer long at the beginning of next week. But be careful because, again, while it's great that we had a nice pop-up in the SPY and in the markets, if that gets exhausted, that's going to make anything trying to go up much more difficult. So we want to keep our objectives and our expectations tempered, taking profits when we can. All right. Next, we got two more here, guys. Two more, and the next is NVIDIA. All right, so NVIDIA, we are looking to, as you can see, go long as well. All right, so we're really well mixed for next week. We've got 3 longs and 3 shorts, so we're ready for whatever here. But very easily, we're looking at our entry zone here at 181.50. All right, and that goes as high as 183, as you can see. Now that would be our ideal zone. Now we go as low as 177 to 177.50. Ideally, that's where we're buying. Now, couple reasons I say that. And with this one, guys, especially for a few reasons, I would really recommend it. Okay. This is completely acceptable entry zone. Obviously, I wouldn't be putting it here if I didn't think so. I wouldn't tell you that if I didn't think so. However, my plan is to be very patient with this NVIDIA. Okay. I'm going to wait and see if we get an exhaustion here at what is our first target. And you can see it closed last week on Friday right up there at our target. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, I've been talking a while. I needed a quick sip of water there. So you can see we closed last week right into our profit target zone. Well, what will be our profit target zone near 187. What we're hoping that happens is that there's a pullback here, this axis resistance at the beginning of the week, and then we pull back into our entry zone. And I want to see it actually go all the way down to our stop. The reason being is you can see this gap up right here. It's not huge. It's not a huge gap here, 177.50. Basically 179.50, so but gaps do tend to act as a magnet for price action. So when things get not necessarily right away. So let's say hypothetically, that's not what happened. NVIDIA moves up and it just goes crazy. I don't know, for whatever reason, something comes out over the weekend, and it's like quadruple bullish than it more bullish than it normally is. All right, well then this is where this wouldn't be the case. It would take off, and at some point, if it ever for some reason pulled back into this area, it would do that. But if it's a normal day and just like there was a gap up and levels being tested, I think that it will do that. And so just because of that natural ebb and flow, it's going to go near this entry zone. Now, if that were the case and there were no gap, I would say, yeah, I would nibble here, right? No problem, anyways. Right off, right off the bat, kind of. However, I expect this to again kind of magnetize price action and bring it down in here, and then I think we're going to test this stop. So I personally am going to wait till we come test our stop at 177, 177.50. And then if that holds, okay, if I see support at that stop and it holds, and then I see bullish characteristics moving into our ideal buy zone here at 181.50 to 183, that would be where I start tiering in, taking my first tier right here at the stop, another tier into here, a tier, just couple into this area, and then just take advantage. Clearly tiering out at my first target here, which we expect to be resistance, 187. So you could ride 177 to 187. I mean, it's a nice $10 move. And then, of course, we break that and we move up. We've always got our second profit target here at about 190 to 191. And then, of course, from there, I would say if we were to get a continuation, it would definitely not be any higher than 200 for the last year. But that's what we're looking at here for NVIDIA, guys. Very, very simple. A hold of our stop at 177, strength into our buy zone at 181, basically 180. If 177 shows a hold, I'm going to start, buy a tier 1 here, and then 180 is another tier, then just into the zone, and then taking profits up here. All right. So that is NVIDIA. All right. And then last but not least, certainly not, is Apple. All right. We're looking at Apple for our third long for the week coming up here. So Apple is very simple as well. Very cut and dry on this trade here, guys. We're looking at about 247. If the market is good, I have a high confidence in this trade. 75-80% confidence, and it's very simple, as you can see. Our stops here down at 274. Our entry is at 277, basically. All right, we iron down. I usually don't leave the contract here, but I would be eyeing down the 280 call. Again, nothing's financial advice, guys. Do what you're gonna do. Just what I'm looking at, and then taking profits up here at 2080. Just into 2080.50. We'd be looking to take those profits, and that's pretty much it, guys. There's upside potential as well. The second tier would be at about 289.50. So I would give it a good $8-9 in between, to get up there. But I think, we could count on the tier one pretty confidently getting there, and then as well as tier two. Getting beyond that, I think, is going to be difficult. Just like with NVIDIA, I think once we get into that 300 level, like in NVIDIA, it's just going to be too much for Apple, and so we're going to keep our expectations tempered. All right, for that third tier, or that little guy that we leave for any continual upside move. All right, so that is Apple. Apple long for the week ahead. And then, of course, NVIDIA long for the week ahead. Pfizer long for the week ahead. AI long for the week ahead. All right. So those are the longs that we're looking for the week coming up. And then we're looking to short Ford, Netflix, and Palantir. All right, you know what, guys? Let me get those up here in a second. Pardon me for one moment. All right, so there is our Ford short. Give me just a minute, guys. I got everything lined up so we can see it a little easier. All right. 30 more seconds. Yeah, my apologies, guys. I'm still getting used to the tech. As you know, I'm a one-man band over here for now. Is that correct? There we go. My goodness. 1,000 apologies, guys. I didn't realize I had shut those charts down. Okay. So we'll do a quick run through. All right, guys. this is what we're looking at for the week ahead. Okay, so coming up for the week starting February 9th, we have 3 longs and 3 shorts. Our first long is AI, which we had gotten into at the end of last week, but we're planning to take our profits, our second profit target, right up into this 1225 zone here, and then our third profit target up into the 1250. Now, guys, if you did not get in on this, do not chase this. Okay, just going over the ones we're looking for that. So, again, these are all trades that we're looking for the week starting February 9th. AI long. We have Pfizer long, NVIDIA long, Apple long, Ford short, Palantir short, and Netflix short. All right, guys, so that's what we're looking at the week ahead. You have any questions, you know how to contact me, and we'll go over these trades if you have any questions. And that's pretty much it, guys. So we are essentially done with that portion of our study hall today here. So any questions you have about these trades that we're looking at or the trades we took, now's the time. So go ahead and drop those questions in chat, and we'll get them answered. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our study hall here for this week. And I'll just recap the trades that we're looking at for the week ahead starting February 9th. The first is we're looking at AI long. AI long. We're looking at a Pfizer long. NVIDIA long. Apple long. Ford short. Palantir short. And Netflix short. All right, so we got a nice mix of both calls and puts that we're looking at for this week ahead. All right, guys, great job this weekend. Have a great time at the Super Bowl, and great trading this last week. I'm looking forward to a great trading this coming week. And if you guys have any questions, you know where to reach me, right? All right, toptiertradingteam.com. Look forward to seeing you guys there. Take care.
On the floor at the opening bell, coffee in my cup and a story to tell. Candle on the screen, got a tail in the wick. Rick's tight, mine right, pulling that trigger quick. Green Day grin with a country drawl. Blues in my past, now I'm watching it fall. Rocking my spine, reggae swaying my seat. Top tier trading team, bringing that heat. Hey! Top tier trading team, we ride that. For the slide, cover my downside, let the upside glide. Stop, set, snug, so the loss stays small. Win big, lose small, that's the name of the call. Pivot at support, let the losers go. Let the winners walk, let the compound grow. From the laptop glow to the back porch swing, we sing about spreads like a porch front hymn. Oh yeah, top tier trading team, we ride that away from the to the green, from the fit of the brave. Charts look mean, but we still don't care. We just dance through the drawdown. Pockets to save, top tier trading team. Turn the grind to a dream. High tide, high vibe. Let the profits stream. Every bell, every bar, we're a laser beam. Top tier trading team. Top tier trading team. Who you roll with when the floor might break. When the line pulls back, but your hands stay clean. Sing it out loud. Yeah, you know that team. my cup and a story to tell. Candle on the screen, got a tail in the wick. Wrist tight, mind right, pulling that trigger quick. Green Day.